Letter 77 of Letters from Egypt by Lady Lucie Duff Gordon. Read for LibriVox.org into the public domain. To Sir Alexander Duff Gordon, March 31st, 1866. Dearest Alec, as for me, I am much better again. The cough has subsided. I really think the Arab specific, camel's milk, has done me great good. I have mended ever since I took it. It has the merit of being quite delicious. Yesterday I was much amused, when I went for my afternoon's drink, to find Sherif in a great taking at having been robbed by a woman under his very nose. He saw her gathering hummuz from a field under his charge, and went to order her off, whereupon she coolly dropped the end of her bourda which covered the head and shoulders, effectually preventing him from going near her, made up her bundle and walked off. His respect for the harem did not, however, induce him to refrain from strong language. M. Brun has made very pretty drawings of the mosque here, both outside and in. It is a very good specimen of modern Arab architecture, and he won't believe it could be built without ground plan, elevations, etc., which amuses the people here, who build without any such inventions. The harvest here is splendid this year, such beans and wheat, and prices have fallen considerably in both, but meat, butter, etc., remain very dear. My fame as a Hakimah has become far too great, and on market days I have to shut up shop. Yesterday a very handsome woman came for medicine to make her beautiful, as her husband had married another who teased her, and he rather neglected her. And a man offered me a camel load of wheat if I would read something over him and his wife to make them have children. I don't try to explain to them how very irrational they are, but use the more intelligent argument that all such practices savour of the Ebu Erika, equivalent to black art, and are haram to the greatest extent, besides, I add, being all lies into the bargain. The applicants for child-making and charm-reading are Copts or Muslims, quite in equal numbers, and appear alike indifferent as to what book, but all but one have been women. The men are generally perfectly rational about medicine and diet. I find there is a good deal of discontent among the Copts with regard to their priests and many of their old customs. Several young men have let out to me at a great rate about the folly of their fasts, and the badness and ignorance of their priests. I believe many turn Muslim from a real conviction that it is a better religion than their own, and not, as I at first thought, merely from interest. Indeed, they seldom gain much by it, and often suffer tremendous persecution from their families. Even they do not escape the rationalizing tendencies now abroad in Christendom. Then their early and indissoluble marriages are felt to be a hardship. A boy is married at 8 years old, perhaps to his cousin aged 17, I know one here in that case, and when he grows up he wishes it had been let alone. A clever lad of 17 propounded to me his dissatisfaction, and seemed to lean to Islam. I gave him an Arabic New Testament, and told him to read that first, and judge for himself whether he could not still conform to the church of his own people, and inwardly believe and try to follow the Gospels. I told him it was what most Christians had to do, as every man could not make a sect for himself, while few could believe everything in any church. I suppose I ought to have offered him the 39 Articles, and thus have made a Muslim out of him out of hand. He pushed me a little hard about several matters, which he says he does not find in the book, but on the whole he is well satisfied with my advice. Coptic Palm Sunday, April 1st. We hear that Fadil Pasha received orders at Aswan to go up to Khartoum in Giafar Pasha's place. It is a civil way of killing a fat old Turk if it is true. He was here a week or two ago. My informant is one of my old crew who was in Fadil Pasha's boat. I shall wait to get a woman servant till I go to Cairo. The women here cannot iron or sew. So, meanwhile, the wife of Abdel el Kader does my washing, and Omar irons, and we get along capitally. Little Achmet waits, etc., and I think I am more comfortable so than if I had a maid. It would be of no use to buy a slave, as the trouble of teaching her would be greater than the work she would do for me. My medical reputation has become far too great, and all my common drugs, Epsom salts, senna, aloes, rhubarb, quassia, run short. Especially do all the poor, tiresome, ugly old women adore me, and bore me with their aches and pains. They are always the doctor's greatest plague. The mark of confidence is that they now bring the sick children, which was never known before, I believe, in these parts. I am sure it would pay a European doctor to set up here; the people would pay him a little, and there would be good profit from the boats in the winter. I got turkeys when they were worth 6 or 8 shillings apiece in the market, and they were forced upon me by the fellaheen. I must seal this up for fear the boat should come; it will only pick up M. Brune and go on. End of Letter 77. Read by Sibylla Denton. All LibriVox files are in the public domain. For more information, please visit LibriVox.org.